A few days ago, I did a blog on women, are you being bullied? And somebody said you should do positive videos also on women. I completely agree. That was more a warning to young girls who are getting into a marriage or been in marriage for some time and not realizing that they're actually being bullied. So here is a more Q&A kind of a thing, some of the questions which came and things like that. So first of all, if you're 21, 22 and your parents have not taught you much about finance, stop worrying about it. Doesn't really matter. It is not something which requires 10 years to learn. Yes, it is nice to have a good attitude towards money, and that can come from a family which has given you good upbringing. If your parents never fought about money, if your parents never said, oh, we don't have money for doing that, that itself is good, right? Because it means it's a more positive family which says we can afford it but not now, maybe we buy it later, or it's not a priority now. It's not that we don't have money, but it's not a priority, right? So something like that, depending on the language which they use, it will shape your future. But it is possible to stop, dead stop, full halt and relearn. That's perfectly all right. There are enough books and videos etc. available on how to learn finance. So don't get into cribbing, because 22 you're just starting your life, and very likely that you'll live till 100, which means you're talking another 80 years where you're going to be needing to know something about finance. You need something to know at 22, at 32, at 42, at 82. You need to know something about finance, right? So your background may not have prepared you, but that does not stop you from going and learning. But of course, if your background did prepare you, then it's very good. If you've been in a house with, say, two brothers and a father, and they always thought that money was a man's topic, it's not true. Women do participate with how their money is to be managed. It's a question of whether they are earning money and how much money they are earning. So a young woman who is not earning much will be very conservative with her investments. But a young woman who is earning very well, let's say she's gone to one of the good B schools, her father is a senior banker, mother is a doctor, and you know, this kind of a combination, which means she knows she can take risk, then she behaves very differently with her money than a girl who's seen her mother as a housewife, who's been asking her father for money for day-to-day things. Then she takes a step back, right? So don't worry too much about your background clouding you. Just go ahead and learn and you can start, right? So also understand that women live longer than men, so you need to have an investment strategy and a retirement strategy in place even when you're very young. Because as caregiving increases and let's say you become a wife, you become a mother, you're looking after a parent, or you're looking after an in-law, chances are that you will move in and out of the workforce, right? Very likely that it is a woman who moves. I'm not getting judgmental, but the fact is it is women who will move in and out. Then you need to have your investment strategy in place. Yes, I'm meeting a lot of young girls who are just starting to earn money. They are saving, that's good, but converting that saving into investment happens only when you have an investment strategy. You have to have a written down plan, at least by the time you're 35, as to what you want your money to do for you. It cannot be just, oh, I'm earning money, I have some bunch of investments, it's lying in my drawer, I get an NSGL statement saying what's happening. That's not right. That's not right for men, that's not right for women. But women need to have the strategy better in place, because at some stage you could be alone. You never married, right? So you would be alone, or you let your father or your brother take care of your investments, so you are alone in the sense that there is nobody around to help you. Your brother has migrated, your father has died, so there is nobody to help you. Or you depended on your husband and your husband has died and you were only 60 when he died, and you got another 30 years to look after your money. So that's again a problem, because you're alone, right? So women need to learn about money. They need to learn how to negotiate and get a good job or get a good client, whatever, whether you're in profession or you're in service. You need to know how to save money. That is again not very difficult. It is a habit, and slowly you can strengthen yourself. Let's say you are saving 5,000 rupees a month and you're not happy with that figure, you can slowly increase it to 6,000. Don't overnight try to make these changes. Having a saving is a very good habit, and accumulating money by saving is again a fantastic thing to do. And you should start investing. You can start investing with as low as 1000 rupees a day, month, or 500 rupees a month. Anything is possible. So immaterial, even if you are if you're using housemaids, and if there are women working in your office who are much lower than you, maybe she's a maid or things like that, you can start teaching them. Whatever you learn, start teaching. That's one of the best ways of learning. Make sure that there are people around in your let's say your housemaid. You're living with your parents, you have a housemaid. Teach her how to do a SIP, and you contribute 500 rupees whenever she can't, right? So in a year she should be contributing 12 into 500. She could contribute only 11. Make it an incentive. Give her 500 and tell her, if it is 1, I will pay. If it is more than 1, I will not pay. I will take money from you. I'll take 1000 rupees from you to pay that 500. Put a carrot and stick kind of a policy. Make sure that over 4 or 5 years you guarantee that she will get back more than what she has put. That's a great way to teach her. You're empowering a woman. Maybe she's a young girl, maybe she's a mother of 2 children. You're teaching her. Keep the statement at home. Make sure that you create an email ID for her. Don't bring her into your email ID, because your NSGL statement will get very confusing. Which goes by PAN number, but don't bring one email ID and get it very confusing. Create an email ID for her. Teach her. Make sure that she is learning with you. You're uplifting not just one woman, you're uplifting a family, right? Make your budget, see how your budget works, do all that. And one thing which I've noticed, I've seen, is women are as aggressive as men are while investing, provided they are earning, right? So a well earning woman, let's say she's earning 50-60 lakhs a year, she's obviously willing to take more risk than a woman who's earning 8 lakhs or 9 lakhs, who's saying, oh no, I can't afford to lose money, right? So attitude about money does not change so much with gender, but with the amount of money that they make and create, right? So if a woman is supporting a family or her parents or things like that, she behaves very differently. But if she is independent and she knows she's actually going to inherit money from the parents and never have to pay them anything, then her attitude is different. So these are all things that you can do. You can start talking to other women about how to overcome the disadvantages of being a woman, if you think there are some disadvantages. But for that, like I said, you earn well, you save well, you have an investment strategy in place. So yes, having an investment strategy helps, because you know where you want to go. Remember that women live longer than men, so at some stage you will be alone, right? So women are doing a lot of right things, and there are a lot of women who are not doing the right thing. So I've done videos on if you're married, when should you combine your account with your husband, whether you should change your name. These are all personal decisions. Please do it yourself. And as parents, what can you do? As parents, if you have a young daughter and a son, make sure that you don't make a distinction. It should not happen that you talk about investing to your son and about cooking to your daughter. Everybody needs to know everything, right? Your son needs to know how to cook, your son needs to know how to respect women, and your daughter also needs to know all that, and it comes naturally. Ultimately, if you're a good husband, your daughter is going to pick up from there and say, oh, this is how I expect to be treated. If you are abusive, the chances are your daughter will expect abuse and get abuse, and she will say, oh, it's quite normal, right? So how the men behave in the house, how the women behave in the house, these are all things which are going to impact her future, including her investment. So putting get your priorities right, sit and teach. Make sure that don't do anything for them, let them go. The day your daughter is 18, let her go, let her up her bank account from a minor account to a major account. Let her get the checkbook, let her get her PAN card, let her get her Aadhaar card, passport, whatever she needs to do. Let her do it herself. That's the best way to teach, whether it is finance or independent living or cooking, everything. Best is let them go and do it. Don't ring up your relationship manager and say, please send this form and my daughter will sign it. No, let her go, let her find the form, let her find whom to talk with. It's okay if she talks to your relationship manager, but make sure that she does all that, and then slowly she will learn about investing and things like that also, right? Thank you.